Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Glory be to God and praise be to Him. There is no God but God. God is the greatest. Peace and blessings be upon the messenger who came into this world to establish a path of light leading us back to the realization of the oneness of the absolute reality, and upon his noble family who endured poverty, humiliation and torture in order to uphold the message and transmit that light for our benefit. It is an honor to have been invited to speak at an event remembering one of the world's most noble women, the daughter of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Fatima the Gracious, peace be upon her. She was the repository of the esoteric dimensions of Islam, pure and upright, and as Imam Ali alayhi salam, her husband, said after her tragic death, she was a flower from paradise that has left its scent. This short talk is on the subject of hijab, which means veil. One meaning of hijab is that it is a covering which a woman draws over herself, concealing her hair and her body. The Quran says, "Say to the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, that they should not display their beauty and ornaments except for what must ordinarily appear, and that they should draw their veils over their front." It also says, "O Prophet, tell your wives and daughters and the believing women that they should cast their outer garments over themselves when they are outside." The covering of a woman and of a man in Islam, since a man must be modest too, is a withdrawal from the tempestuous forces of the world which pull us away from God. In withdrawing from worldly forces, the Muslim turns towards God. From attaching our attention to the myriad phenomena outside, the noise, the conflict, the hustle and bustle, we turn to attach our attention to the essence of God that dwells in the heart. We turn away from the concrete, the desert of concrete and metal outside, to the oasis of peace and light within. That is what we do when we cover. Islam conceives of the human being as a noble being. Our true identity is the person within us who is honorable. It is not necessary for us to expose ourselves in order to succeed in the world. It's not necessary for us to expose ourselves in order to be loved and accepted. We have a high value. That's why we're not on display for the public gaze. We know that in Britain, many people see hijab as something that goes against British culture. It's seen as something alien and sinister, something that belongs to the past. It has been interpreted as a statement of separation from society, and it has aroused many passionate feelings among those who do not understand it. If hijab is something strange for British culture, perhaps we can reflect upon why that might be, and also reflect further upon why British converts to Islam are choosing to wear hijab. What is there lacking in British culture that Islam and the hijab might offer? Why is it that we who were born here are choosing this way of turning to God? Hijab is more than just a piece of cloth. It's also a reminder of our higher purpose in this existence. Our existence as human beings does not stop at the limits of culture, at the limits of any culture. Islamic hijab was strange for Arab culture when it was first instituted. It was the norm in 7th century Arabia for people to uncover, to attract the attention of the marketplace, to sell the self in public, much as it is the norm in Britain today. Hijab came as a reminder of a realm beyond this world, a reminder of a reality that goes beyond cultural custom, and as a reminder that one day we will die and depart from here. Hijab is a way of remembering God, of remembering our spiritual dimensions as human beings, and yes, it makes remembrance of God public rather than purely private. It allows free celebration of God's presence in our lives. We don't have to be ashamed of mentioning His name or responding to His call in our hearts. In a culture where the soul is often forgotten, hijab is a reminder that we have a soul. Why? Because in Islam, outward actions affect our inner state. Hijab is a state of mind and a state of being. The piece of cloth is just the outward appearance of a person seeking to protect, purify, and cultivate the soul within, as it was when it first came into Islamic practice. Some people object to a woman in a country like Britain lauding the hijab, where she is not forced to wear it. They assume it's easy to do, and that she is being spoiled and perverse in wearing it. In fact, there are many barriers and challenges for a woman who chooses to wear hijab, such as getting the job she applies for, the flat she's seeking to rent, dealing with people day to day who might assume she's uneducated and doesn't speak English, countering inflammatory remarks made by politicians attempting to make some political capital for themselves. Muslim women wear hijab fully aware of the accusations of being backward, of being despised and thought of with suspicion. How many people in this country would be able to voluntarily step out of their front door knowing that they are going to encounter these attitudes? How many people in this country could live with that